Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Not much to say before today's episode, so we're just going to jump onto the ladder, currently with a rating of 1799 after losing to Paul in the first game of yesterday's episode, and picking up a really tight win in the second game, as we find Kazuto from Guatemala with a rating of 1735 immediately. As always, if you enjoy Road to Rank, please share support by leaving a like on the video, just takes a quick second. Kazuto here's got a team of Sylveon, Zapdos, Landorus T, Kangaskhan, Bisharp, and Rotom Wash, so looks pretty rain weak. Politoed Ludicolo honestly is a decent lead matchup here. You know, Ludicolo is fantastic, especially with the Assault Vest, and I feel like Scarf Politoed is really helpful here as well. So, you know, I'm just gonna go Polyludi. I do like the Metagross a lot here, especially to beat the Sylveon, but it just gets overall good coverage. For the last one, let's see. I'm not leaning towards Hydreigon right now. I actually kind of like Terrakion because of the ability to, you know, one-hit KO the Kangaskhan and the Bisharp. It can also Quick Guard and Rock Slide to hit the Zapdos are super effective. And I just like the speed matchup overall, so I'm going to end up going with Terrakion and lock in here. Zapdos or Thunderous on my side, kind of tempting, but at the same time, you know, Kangaskhan can do a lot of damage to it, Bisharp can knock it off, and Landorus, if it's Scarfed, can Scarf Rock Slide me, so I'm not going to really want to bring it here. You know, I can't really do too much to Zapdos or Rotom Wash either, but you know, this is one of the matches where the Rain lead definitely looks really solid, and we'll see how this plays out, but I do like the options here with Rain. However, of course, the rain lead does suffer a bit against bulkier Pokemon, so we'll see if my opponent decides to bring any of those. But I'm going to go with Poly and Ludicolo. As we see, Ra, and all these nicknames are really getting me. Zapdos and Sylveon, which is one of the better lead matchups my opponent probably could have had. So, that Sylveon does put on a lot of pressure immediately. I mean, I could just fake out Zapdos and Surf here. And, quite honestly, that's the move I want to go for. Like, I feel like the Pokemon I have in the back deal with anything my opponent has potentially in the back pretty well. Surf's probably a 2-hit KO on Sylveon, and even if it doesn't, I can just target it down this next turn. So, yeah, I'm just going to fake out Surf here. There's not much I lose. You know, Hyper Voice shouldn't KO me. That way I can outspeed him the following turn, get another Surf off. Hyper Voice to Ludi. Assault Vest Ludi does around 50. To Politoed I'd expect maybe 80-90%, but as long as I can hang on with a bit, the most important thing is I can outspeed him the following turn. And right now I just want to deny a potential Tailwind from that Zapdos, because that's the scariest thing. But yeah, all these nicknames are really tripping me up, and of course there was a recent update to allow nicknames for a bit. We actually see the Protect come out of Sylveon, which is perfect for me here. We'll see if Zapdos, yeah, it's not going to go for a Detect or Protect, and, you know, Zapdos normally being faster than Sylveon, you shouldn't expect it there. So we do go for the Fake Out Surf immediately. And obviously I outspeed the Zapdos because of my Choice Scarf, so that is a decent amount. And now I think I'm going to try to target down the Zapdos. You know, it is a bigger threat in my opinion. So I'm just going to Surf and Ice Beam the Zapdos. I was expecting that Sylveon to be Scarfed, or Spexed, excuse me, as he actually switches out the Zapdos, so a good play on my opponent's end. As Cutter, the Bisharp comes in, but that's going to be taking a lot of damage from this Ice Beam and Surf, so I don't actually mind the switching here. It does put on more pressure, however, this following turn, as Ice Beam does more damage than I expected, and Scarf Politoed really helping me out right now, as it's able to just dish out huge amounts of damage, actually, almost knocking out the Bisharp, not enough, but coming very close. We do see that Hyper Voice come out of Sylveon, but isn't enough to knock out either of my Pokemon. You know, of course my opponent can go for a Sucker Punch play here, but I'm just going to go for the Surf and the, let's see. Who do I want to knock out more? Yeah, I mean, definitely have to, definitely have to Surf here. That was a good switch in by my opponent. I kind of wish I Scalded the Zapdos instead, because obviously Scald would have picked up the KO, but with Metagross and Terrakion right now, I feel pretty confident I can seal up the game. Or, obviously it's still far from over, but a pretty intense match at this point. So Bisharp's probably going to want to Sucker Punch. If it's Life Orb, that'd actually help me out more. He might also want to Protect with the Bisharp and attack with this Sylveon. Let's see, I feel like knocking out the Bisharp would be a bit better though. So you know what, I'm just going to Surf and Scald the Bisharp here. Okay, he does Protect with the Bisharp, so good play by my opponent, but I get free damage off here with the Sylveon, and I also get a free switch into Terrakion, assuming Hyper Voice knocks me out here, as Surf shouldn't KO the Sylveon. So let's see. Yep. He does go for the Hyper Voice. I think it might actually be enough to knock out Ludi as well. Yeah, it is. So he does pick up the double KO there with Sylveon, which is obviously pretty scary, but I do get a free switch into both the Terrakion and the Metagross, which is pretty good for me. Though if my opponent's last Pokemon is Landorus T, I might be in some trouble. I'm banking off it being Kangaskhan. Landorus T could cause some trouble here, and I wouldn't really expect him to bring the Kangaskhan. And right now, I kind of played into a trap, I'd say. This next one, I'm going to go straight for the Substitute and Rock Slide. Rock Slide should pick up the knockout into Sylveon at this range. He's probably going to want to go for a Sucker Punch onto the Metagross. I'm not going to walk into that. It also allows me to set up a free Substitute, as that also prevents any Sucker Punches from Kangaskhan in the back. So, even though I am down 2-4 right now, I was playing just to try to get as much damage off with the Polyludi lead and then trying to finish things up with the Metagross and Terrakion, since even those two deal with my opponent's team really, really well. Of course, he could actually have Rotom Wash in the back as well. If it's, I'm actually hoping it's the Kangaskhan, and it makes sense for my opponent to bring Kangaskhan here, though he might have opted not to, seeing the Metagross and Terrakion I had. So if it's Landorus T, it might cause some issues. If it's Rotom Wash, I'm a bit more confident about that. And of course, I've got the game in my favor in terms of RNG, when I've got Rock Slide, Zen Headbutt, and Iron Head, all which can flinch. But this is a pretty important turn here. My opponent really did get the better of me after that first turn, though. I feel like Polyludi should have been able to do even more damage to my team than I allowed it to. We don't see any switch outs here, though, so if he doesn't protect with the Sylveon, Roxanne can just pick up a double KO here most likely, unless the Sylveon's really, really bulky, and I get a free sub up. But he actually protects here with Sylveon, which is even better, because I get a sub up and I don't lose anything from it. So I do go for the Rock Slide, and it does connect with the Bisharp, as he actually opted not to Sucker Punch, so a good play on his end there. Hoping I might have maybe gone for a Quick Guard, but I was just going to go for the safe Rock Slide here. And I do get the sub up as well, so this is important. Also blocks in any potential Landorus T Intimidates, which can be super helpful if my opponent indeed does have that Landorus T. But we're going to see, I think, the Zapdos come back in here, and that's really good news for me. As, yeah, things are looking pretty solid right now. I think I'm just gonna Iron Head the Sylveon slot. Actually, maybe I should Zen Headbutt the Zapdos slot and Rock Slide. Because, I don't know, my opponent might switch out Sylveon here and try to go for a Tailwind with the Zapdos. So yeah, I'm gonna try to knock out Zapdos here. It's the bigger threat, so I'm just gonna Rock Slide and Zen Headbutt. And if he stays in with Sylveon, then it's basically over. But oh, he actually goes for the double and he fails, so as long as I don't miss my attacks here, the Zapdos is gonna go down. Rock Slide should knock out Sylveon, but I'm not entirely confident, as brings him to very low HP, and Rock Slide does connect with both Pokemon, so that's really, really fortunate. And yeah, it was enough to knock out Sylveon, though I was playing a bit risky there. Wasn't sure how bulky his Sylveon really was, but Rock Slide normally does a fair amount. But definitely a scare, however, it looks like the game should be in my favor, especially after getting that substitute up. I assume Kangaskhan's my opponent's last one, but let's see. Anything is fine to deal with, and it is Big Mama, so I assume that's Kangaskhan. Yeah. So this next turn, I'm just going to double protect. Actually, there's not even much reason to double protect. But yeah, I'll just go for the double protect. I want to see whether he has fake out protect or whatnot. See what he goes for. But he can't win just because Terrakion can't. Actually, I mean, I could have just close combat at Iron Head this turn, but yeah, I just wanted to see what he went for. I normally like to just get some more information out. But, I mean, yeah, close combat Iron Head this turn would have been perfectly fine. And the thing is, obviously, I outspeed Kangaskhan with Terrakion, and it just knocks him out in one hit with close combat. So, yeah, there's no downside. Easy goes for the low kick onto Terrakion. So, just wanted to see what moves he had. Now I can just Iron Head and close combat. And without a way to outspeed the Terrakion other than through Sucker Punch, which of course through Justified would actually give me attack boosts, and it's not like Kangaskhan's Sucker Punches are doing too much to Terrakion, it should be able to seal the game. So that is why I like using Terrakion on a lot of my teams. It is a very, very good way to deal with the ever-present Kangaskhan. Of course, you're gonna have to walk around Intimidate and whatnot, but the rest of the Rain Core really threatens Pokemon that threaten Terrakion, for example, Landorus T. So he actually is going to go for that Sucker Punch, targeting down the Metagross, so that first one's going to knock out the sub. Let's see how much the second one does with the crit, so that one not mattering, obviously. That's around 40 damage. Actually, a bit less than I expected. As Metagross gets the Iron Head off, and close combat will come out and finish the deal. So, basically a 2-4 comeback. Not really comeback, though. I wouldn't use comeback to describe the situation here. I mean, that's why I like using Rain a lot when my opponent's teams are not prepared for it whatsoever. Like in this case, he had no way to deal with it, and I knew I could just get a lot of damage off even through spamming Surf, and that's why I'm actually running Surf on this Politoed. There are a lot of teams that don't have those Pokemon that resist Surf. So, you know, that Protect from Sylveon actually caught me off guard, but it ended up working out even better, though I feel like my opponent put me in a scarier position than I really should have been. But ultimately, he had no answer to Lorraine Core, so that win should put us over 1800, which is pretty nice after we had a rough losing streak with it earlier on. Just going to jump back onto the ladder, and let's see if we can pick up another win, as we are at 1813 right now. So, you know, past couple of weeks, changing up teams, whatnot, especially after the ratings reset, we were able to jump up to 1800 plus pretty quickly, but to jump to 1900 is always a bit difficult. Would be really, really cool to hit 2000, especially on Road to Rank, but it is a difficult accomplishment to go for. But that's my goal. Tuk Tuk from Minnesota with a rating of 1654 is our next opponent of the day, also with a somewhat rain weak team, though a bunch of threats here. Got the Togekiss, Rotom Wash, Metagross, Terrakion, Salamence, and Gengar. Presumably Mega Salamence, though also maybe Mega Metagross or Mega Gengar. The reason why I'm not as confident bringing Rain here is like Togekiss and Salamence is a very potential lead, so I'm somewhat scared of that. This actually takes me back to our game against Paul yesterday when he actually led with those two exact Pokemon, and like Rain doesn't fare too well against that. So I don't know. Part of me wants to try to counteract that by leading with actually, Metagross is really, really solid here. He doesn't have many great ways to deal with it, so I do like Metagross. Leaning towards Thundurus Metagross here. Thundurus because the two Pokemon that Metagross really doesn't like going up against are my opponent's Metagross and maybe Gengar, but I can taunt those or Thunder Wave those, and that can really help me out. So Thundurus Metagross. I'm even wondering if I'd even should bring Rain in the first place here. I mean, Hydreigon's really good here for the Rotom Wash, Metagross, and Gengar. I might actually not bring Rain at all, despite my opponent having a bunch of Rain weak Pokemon. Like, it doesn't feel as, I don't feel as solid with this matchup. Like, I can't just spam with the Rain Pokemon. So I'm actually leaning towards Hydreigon and Terrakion here. Though, Terrakion maybe not the best option. I mean, Rock Slides are always nice, though, that's the thing. It would be between Terrakion and Politoed, which can get really powerful water-type attacks off, especially with the Scarf. You know, Scarf Toad might actually not be a bad idea here. Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Politoed, I think. Mainly because he actually can't one-hit KO the Politoed with his Terrakion, whereas he can one-hit KO my Terrakion with his Terrakion and Metagross. And Scald is a two-hit KO and then can outspeed and get the burn chance as well. And of course against Terrakion, it's a one-hit KO. So he's actually going to lead with Togekiss and Gengar. Okay. I'm alright with that. If I went actually with my Rain leads from the start, it would not have been too bad, but, you know, I didn't really want to risk the Togekiss Salamence lead, because I felt like that was a pretty tricky matchup. But, I'll take it. Let's see. If I were him, I'd like Will-O-Wisp, and perhaps Follow Me. So, I'm gonna Mega Evolve, Protect, and taunt the Gengar. It's highly unlikely Gengar is Protect here. I mean, just basing off normal Gengar sets, so if he doesn't follow me, I can immediately shut down any potential Will-O-Wisp plays, and then next turn we at least Speed High, but let's see. Switching Metagross out to Politoed might have actually been a better play here, but Thundurus is a good option right now. Togekiss protects, there you go. Perfect. And that means Gengar's probably not protecting here, as I do get a free taunt off. You know, little reason to target Togekiss there when Gengar, you know, oh wow, great read there though. He goes straight for the Sludge Bomb onto Thundurus, dealing over 50% there. Very good play on my opponent's end there. Well done. So I don't know whether he has Shadow Ball or not, and that's really irking me. If he does, obviously, I'm going to want to switch out Metagross here. I mean, do I play under the assumption he doesn't, because most Gengar sets don't? Metagross is really important in this matchup, but if I switch, I'm afraid I'm going to lose a lot of momentum. I mean, you know, I'm the player who tends to play it safer here, but part of me really just wants to go for the attack. Like, if I could get an Iron Head off against the Togekiss. I mean, we also Speed High. Let's see. No, I'm just going to Iron Head the Togekiss and Thunderbolt the Gengar. I'm going to go for it. He goes for the Follow Me. Okay. So if I win the Speed High, I don't even have to worry about potential Shadow Balls. Okay, so I do get the Iron Head off, which is great. I think it should knock it out. Yeah, perfect. This is not why I didn't go for the Thunder Wave. I actually get a crit there, but I don't think it matters. He does have the Shadow Ball though, so I played a bit risky there and probably got a bit luckier. Actually, I managed to hang on with 10 HP, so Mega Metagross's bulk really showing there, and I get a free Thunderbolt as well. So Gengar revealing both Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, as I do knock out the Togekiss, which is great, mainly because redirection was a huge issue for this team. But yeah, so I guess the speed tie there didn't matter, but I do confirm the Shadow Ball from Gengar, which makes this game a bit more difficult. Like, if it didn't have Shadow Ball, obviously I'd be in such a good position right now, but I'll take what I can get. Salamence comes in, of course that Intimidate does affect me, but Metagross being able to hang on with 10 HP there was really clutch, though I actually wouldn't have minded a KO there because it would have meant a free switch in, but you know, you take what you can get. Let's see. So we got more speed ties here. Speed ties always really irk me. Do I want to switch on Metagross? What does my opponent have in the back? So I knocked out Togekiss. He probably has Terrakion or Rotom Wash. Metagross is pretty helpful against both of those, honestly. Let's see, he's probably going to Shadow Ball. I mean, I wouldn't mind a free switch into a Terrakion or Rotom Wash. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a free switch into Politoed, so you know what, I'm just going to go for the Iron Head and the Thunder Wave. Presumably Salamence is protecting here. Oh, he actually switches out. Good play. Into what, Terrakion or Rotom Wash? Gonna be Rotom, okay. So pretty risky play here, he's risking the speed tie. Oh, he goes for the Sludge Bomb targeting Thundurus, okay. So wanting to get as much damage off as possible, knowing that it's a bit... Iron Head might not... Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. You know, -1 Metagross. I was afraid like Gengar would be super bulky, but like Gengar being as defensively fraud as is, you know, can't really take that. So 2-4 right now in my favor. Things are looking pretty solid, but the Rotom Wash here is quite a threat actually. It pairs up with that Salamence really, really nicely, and it's definitely far, far, far from over yet. Let's see. This is interesting. Like last game, I was up 2-4. I was down 2-4, but I put myself in such a good position. I feel like my opponent has really managed to put himself into a pretty good position. And I do wish I had Terrakion as... Actually, I mean, like, Terrakion, Ludi would both be great, but at the same time, like, Rotom Wash and Salamence is just such a strong combination when put together. I mean, presumably he's going to protect Salamence and Thunderbolt Thundurus. Now, I'm going to switch out to Metagross to get rid of the Intimidates. And I'm still going to go for the Thunder Wave onto Salamence, because if he doesn't protect and I do get the Thunder Wave off, that's basically going to be game. But if he protects, then he knocks out Thundurus, that's fine. I get a free switch into my Scarf Toad, to which I can just target down the Ments. So, just playing to my outs right now. You know, up 4-2, don't want to choke. Salamence does Mega Evolve, of course, giving it the speed boost here, which is very, very important. But the main question is, does it protect here? If it doesn't protect, then I am basically set. But he does go for the protect, yeah. I mean, that was relatively predictable, but I was just saying, you know, if he doesn't protect, then I basically win. But we're probably going to see a T-Bolt go into Thundurus here. Yep. Best play from my opponent, but also I think, you know, I don't mind the play I made there at all, because now I am free to target down that Salamence this turn. As I'm going to bring in the Metagross here, because I want to conserve the Hydreigon in the back. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam and the Iron Head play. Once Salamence goes down, you know, Hydreigon should be able to deal with the Rotom Wash. So let's see. Oh wow, he outsped the Toad. I should have anticipated that, I guess. I wasn't sure exactly how fast he is. Oh, that's a problem if Ice Beam doesn't knock out the Salamence, though it should. I mean, this is modest max special attack. Yeah, okay. Give me a scare there. But yeah, I totally forgot that I was running Modest on this one instead of Timid, so you know, great turn there by my opponent. I also was not anticipating Hyper Voice evolve moves, as Thunderbolt actually knocks out Politoed, so we're going to be down to a 1v1 situation, but Hydreigon versus Rotom Wash, you know, I've got Dark Pulse, and then just Draco Meteor for the win. So, should work out in my favor as long as he doesn't have, like, Thunder Wave Confuse Ray shenanigans like the Hydreigon I was running on J-Rank's team when I used that on Road to Rank a couple weeks back, but let's see. As Rotom actually protects. Yeah, I mean, if that was actually a physical Salamence with Double Edge, I would have lost. So, yeah, it's scary as he just protects the Dark Pulse here. Probably trying to see what whether I'm choiced or not, so I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse here. I'm guessing he doesn't have Thunder Wave, as, yeah, Draco Meteor should KO it at this range. I actually get the flinch as well, so I don't even know if he has Thunder Wave, but I'm going to Draco it, and as long as I hit here, it's all good. Draco actually misses the Rotom though, so making up for the flinch as he goes for a Hydro Pump. Crit here would be very, very funny. Does do a good amount of damage actually, but the rain stops, so his Hydro Pumps are doing less damage now. Actually, maybe just Dark Pulsing twice would have been a bit better, but like a Rotom Wash against a Hydreigon that doesn't have, and when it doesn't have Thunder Wave or Confuse, right? Probably not going to be able to pull out a win. But anything can happen. Draco Meteor, however, does target down that Rotom Wash, does connect, and is able to pick up the KO. So, another really, really intense match. Like, the fact that, I mean, like, I should have realized that Mega Salamence outsped my Politoed, which is Scarf, but Modest Nature. So, I didn't play that very well towards the end. Like, I should have actually switched out Thundurus. No, like, the Protect play was so obvious. I guess I was really scared of a Dragon Dance, but, like, if I switched out Thundurus to Hydreigon and Metagross to Politoed, then I could have doubled up on the Salamence the next turn with a Draco Meteor and a Ice Beam, and then there's no way my opponent could have beaten that, because he would have to target one of my two Pokemon, even if the Salamence was physical could outspeed. So that actually would have been a better play, but at that time I was just really, really scared of a Dragon Dance play from that Salamence. But in retrospect, like, could have been a bit better, and I end up managing to win because my opponent didn't have the physical set that most Mega Salamences do tend to carry. Though, actually, you know, Double Edge probably would have done so much damage to the point where Metagross could have KO'd with Iron Head anyway, so, you know, maybe it wasn't as bad as I make it out to be. But still, scary, scary position to be in, but we are able to lock up 2 more wins in today's episode, which is great, as our rating currently should be around 1830 or so we were able to climb up after falling into quite a hole a couple of days ago. But yeah, that's it for this episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I shall see you next time. Alright, peace. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to check out Clash Tournaments, my sponsor on YouTube and Twitter. They offer some of the best Super Smash Bros. Content out there, and I'm super grateful for them. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch as you see in the boxes below. See you guys soon!